Deborah King, I'm going to react to unusually disturbing, kid characters. Anyway, let's get started. Warning, the video may content
Characters on kids' television shows aren't really supposed to look realistic.
I know.
They're supposed to be caricatures with exaggerated features and mannerisms. It's what makes them endearing to children. That is, for the most part. You can probably remember as
Ask
a child,
why the
at
question
least one character from one of
jargon
your
brought.
favorite shows that made you hide your eyes every time it appeared on screen. That character may very well have been one of these. Today,
Sorry if I have to scream like that, guys. I've seen that episode of The Butterfly and it, trust me, it scared me to death. And why did they have to air that stupid episode? That is not a way to do anything.
we're going over 10 more unintentionally disturbing kids characters from around the world.
Oh, so this was part 2, okay. Yay! Alright, number 10.
Lady Elaine from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Ugh.
It's tough to imagine a more benign children's program than Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
I think
but
I
you may
watched
recall
this
that
show
the jolly
when I
fellow
was
who
little.
really wanted us to be his neighbor was fond of whisking us off to the neighborhood of make-believe, which was mostly populated with puppets.
Okay,
Aside
this
from
place
the
is
Friendly
amazing.
Friday, Queen Saturday, and Prince Tuesday, there was an assortment of delightful characters, and one who wasn't quite as delightful. Whenever the storyline called for something
That was
resembling
like
a villain,
that guy
it
was
would
like
fall to
Santa
Lady
Claus,
Elaine
but dressed up as
Farchild.
a
Why?
What is
Well,
Queen Saturday
because
gonna
unlike
chop
the other
Lady Lane's
characters,
head off?
Lady Elaine wasn't so friendly. Also, unlike the other characters, she was really ugly and had a magic boomerang that could turn the whole kingdom upside down.
Okay, that's just
Kids
weird.
from certain types of households may also have
Wait, is that
recognized
the
her flush
puppet from
cheeks
Mr.
and rosy
Nosebump from
nose
Jigsaw?
as an indicator
Question mark?
of being constantly drunk. We're sorry if this has triggered any unpleasant memories for any of you, and are starting to wonder just what kind of childhood Mr. Rogers had.
She has a big nose. She pokes people with it. She doesn't like it. Alright, number 9.
Pop from Pop's program.
Oh, I don't want to
In
kiss
the
you, but
mid-80s, Pop's
also your
program
grandpa's
aired
glitching
for
there,
2
bud.
seasons in the UK.
You may want to get him to the
Its
store
premise
and
was
get
that
him
its
fixed.
host, a freaky-looking English-language mangling little thing named Pop, lived inside your TV. And if that's not disturbing enough, he opened each episode by billowing spit all over the screen and writing his name.
What? Just blowing spit with a screen? That's just gross. Let's get back to the video.
Minute. Okay, so he was apparently breathing on the screen and misting it up, but take a look.
That was not an experience I wanted to experience. Maybe his name's backwards. The devil or something.
Judging by the way he speaks and acts, Pob is not capable of knowing how condensation works, but is definitely capable of
Is that
spitting
the
all
grandpa
over
who
things.
wants to...
He sounds like a cracked out
Is that the
Teletubby.
grandpa who
Looks like the kind
was
of
cursed by him and he
undeveloped
wants to kill him, but
abomination
I'm
should
certain that
really
he'll
put
kill
out
him
of his misery.
eventually. I believe in him.
Apparently some
Just
British
pray
kids
that
have
he
fond
can.
memories of the show, and the rest probably have no memory of it at all, having long ago blocked it from their traumatized minds.
I honestly just decapitate that thing. Number 8.
The Thin Man from Look and Read.
Okay, that looks like Slender Man.
The BBC's Look and Read program
This reminds me of
is a series
Stranger
educational
Things.
films telling stories divided up by learning segments. Many of these were
Oh,
shown to
sorry,
boarding
guys.
children in the primary school, but only one episode made those children pee their pants.
Why is
A
he raising his hands?
1971 episode entitled
like-
The Boy from Space.
He's like, you know
The
what
story
these hands
follows a
are
couple of
doing?
kids who are poking around in an empty quarry, which may
Like,
have been
you know
the
what these
sets
hands are
available for
doing?
British filmmakers in the 1970s. They do
He's like,
indeed
you know what
discover a
these
boy
hands
from
are doing?
space, but first, they stumble across a tall, thin man in a hat and overcoat. He's just kind of standing there.
Trust me, if
in
this
the
was
middle
a
of the quarry.
YouTube video, I would just be
And then-
terrified.
He starts lurching towards them in a way that could not be more convincing as an alien who has never used a human body before. The kids run, panicking. The man
Dude, it's the
follows,
boy from
lurching.
space, dude.
Most kids stopped following the story at this point, as they were hiding under their desks.
Well, hey,
It's worth noting that this thin man bears more than a little resemblance to the villain of the 1979 horror classic, Phantasm, who is also referred to as the Thin Man.
oh,
We're not saying that the
okay.
Phantasm director saw this as a child and it scared the shit out of him, except that that's exactly what we're saying.
Oh. Number 7.
Mr. Squiggle.
Ugh.
You won't find Mr. Squiggle on many of these sorts of lists. It's a beloved show having run for 40
Why does
years.
his nose look
and it entertained
like
and educated generations of children in Australia.
banana?
As we may have mentioned,
Ugh, I don't like his neck.
things are a
They
little
could have done it
risky in their
animated.
environment, and everything in it actively wants you dead.
Australia?
But for children who didn't grow up in the murder continent, Mr. Squiggle can be a little disconcerting. He's a marionette with a pencil for a nose, whose only purpose in life is to draw stupid pictures.
Yeah, that's not
He
nice.
bobs and floats in the air.
At least he's
blinking
got
his big
some
bulbous
talent,
eyes,
question
and
mark?
speaking like some deranged serial killer who just now got hit in the head. Really fucking hard.
Really?
We're sure
Can I
this
see it?
long-running show
Oh, is that
is
the
full
thing
of
from
great
Don't Tell Me I'm
messages and helpful
Scared?
educational tidbits for kids.
How did it get over there?
But only in Australia could this floating freaky mutant be seen as cute.
God, I don't like his neck. Alright, you know how I just like to make some weird jokes?
Fuku Rokuju, the Nihongo Diasoba.
What the heck is that? Look at his face!
Ooh, here we go. The Japanese show. That's right. Buckle in. Nihongo Diasoba, or Let's Play in Japanese, teaches children about traditional Japanese culture. In one 2012
Really?
episode, they learned about bunraku, or puppet theater. The segment featured a puppet
like the
that
music.
appears to be based on Fuku Rokuju, one of the 7 lucky gods.
Well,
whose
good
dome,
for him.
in most renderings, resembles nothing so much as a cone head. Unfortunately,
Patrick
the version seen
Star
in this
from
show
Swinville?
resembles something else entirely.
Okay.
Now, we don't have to spell this out for you, but suffice to say that most versions of this lucky god don't look like they're actually about to get lucky. That is, the head does not ordinarily resemble a wrinkled foreskin, and this god's head also does not normally grow fucking erect and actually just become a big dog. Look, we said we didn't have to spell it out for you, not that we're going to. The episode was rebroadcast in 2016, and the internet noticed.
Found the one.
Apparently, this is just the way the types of puppets are made, with bald, extending heads that look just like wangs. Nothing to see here.
I found the one puppet that doesn't scare me, guys. That I'm thinking. Come at me.
Wurzel Gummidge.
Oh.
Wurzel
You may wanna
Gummidge
fix your
originally
hair there,
appeared
buddy.
In a series of British children books, which were adapted to a TV series in 1979. Being the adventures
Aw.
of an ill-tempted scarecrow who comes to life,
Don't worry,
causes
buddy.
all sorts of trouble, and then blames it on the children who are supposed to be his friends by turning them into a normal scarecrow.
Just tell the truth,
The show
dude.
Wurzel Gummidge gave
It's
the
not your
character
fault.
a femme fatale in the form of a life-size fairground doll. Nothing creepy about that. And a set of interchangeable heads. The character could quickly go from jovial and friendly to angry and physically abusive, and looked like an extra from Night of the Living Dead, dressed up in scarecrow clothes. British adults tend to remember the show fondly, perhaps giving it a pass because of the presence of the actor John Pertwee in the title role, who was the third Doctor Who. British people really, really love Doctor Who.
Okay. He's not that bad.
The chief mascots from
What the
Mommy
heck
John
are those?
The Estonian kids show Mommy John Abbott's was ostensibly made
What
for
the
very
heck are
small children and
those?
toddlers.
Those
to
look
learn simple
like-
concepts like letters. They
Those look like
featured
they
actors
begin-
and
they-
mascots
they belong in a
suits,
horror
like the
film.
kind you'd see at a theme park, except they got a few things
Wrong.
Okay, more than a few things. Really, they just took everything fun and endearing about mascots, sprayed it with the blood of a chicken under a new moon, and set it on fire.
Ugh.
For one thing, the costumes look cheap, like salvaged from a dumpster cheap. The heads have no
Agreed.
bottom halves, so we see the actors' human mouths.
God,
poking up
I just
like
wanted to
these
say that
things, eyes made of pure
$500.
malevolence. They sing and dance in ways that can be politely described as awkward, and not so politely described as Buffalo Bill's wet dream. It all plays
Ugh, I don't
a
like your legs,
collaboration between
dude.
Jim Henson and
I really
Jeffrey
don't like
Dahmer,
your mouth.
making it
Or
obvious
you're
to each
angry.
child watching why these horrible things had to have human mouths.
Ugh.
They're all the better to eat you with, my dear. All the better to eat you with.
No, they're not. Number 3.
The Flying Face from Molly Grubs. And
who is
here we
this?
are in Australia again.
Who's this
Molly
cutie
Grubs
pie?
aired from 1988 to
Trying to do my
1996
cutie pie
and
impression.
featured animated
Who's
and
this
live-action
cutie pie?
segments of all sorts. Its one consistent feature was the random appearance of a disembodied face with a weird, squeaky, and disturbing voice
No.
that says nonsensical things, and frankly, just can't get the hell off the screen fast enough. I mean,
Oh, thanks, Banan. I think I'd like to be a frog
Okay, that
today.
voice is creepy.
Do you have glasses?
Yeah.
He doesn't have glasses.
Hey, don't make fun of me now.
Ribbit, ribbit.
Don't rip it at me.
the face was played by actress Diana Kidd.
She looks
who
nice.
is not at all terrifying, and whose voice doesn't sound like that.
Thank God.
Her voice was actually run through a modulator to pitch it several octaves higher, because a floating headless face just wasn't creepy enough on its own. This appears to be part of a concentrated campaign
you have a-
by Australian children's television producers.
you doing a
to
magic
urge
trick,
children
question mark?
to respond
What the heck
to
is that?
acts of horror
Just
by
like a
giggling
random guy shows
and
up on
having
your
some more
TV.
animal
Just like,
friends.
hey kids. Right. Number 2.
EC from Liftoff.
Okay.
Okay, so we really don't want to pick on Australia, but if they didn't want to be so heavily featured on a list of disturbing kid show characters, perhaps they can make a kid show or two that doesn't scare the crap out of us. Liftoff was a mostly live-action series.
Okay,
centered on a
I've
group
heard
of
about
children
Slenderman, but
responding
this is
to the
going
challenges
way
of
too
everyday
far.
life and growing up. The show also featured animation.
This is
and
way
puppetry
too
segments,
far.
as well as several regular
What the heck
puppet
is that?
characters that interacted with its young actors. One of these was named EC, meant to stand in
Is
for
that the
every
catapult
child
where
watching the
they're
show,
gonna kill
and
it?
giving its audience a character to relate to. As such, EC was designed as a blank slate. Literally. The puppet had a smooth gray head with no goddamn face. The show was based on the ideas of a Harvard child psychologist. Who
How
knew
could
that
they
its
not
young
notice
audience
how
would need a
creepy that
surrogate.
thing is?
He should have also
It's
known
creepy
that
as heck.
humanoid beings without faces are terrifying. Almost as terrifying as a floating face with no head. Fucking Australia.
Alright, number 1.
This och cock. Alright, there's no delicate way to put this. The Swedish show
Yeah, let's just see
This
this.
och Kass translates roughly to pee and poop.
Eh?
And its two main characters are literally adult people dressed as a turd and a stream of urine. We're not making this up. It's meant to teach children about bodily functions, and you can probably imagine
He all kind of looks like he's dressed up like a banana.
the insane cast of support
He looks like he's a
characters.
potato.
No? You can't? Here, let us help. Our heroes, Urine and Shit, come across such helpful
Oh my
characters
God.
like a talking butt, a
Wait,
singing
what?
pair of balls,
I'm
and a big
confused
old
right
rapping
now
dick.
because this
How
has
exactly
to be a
this was supposed
joke.
to make children more comfortable with bathroom activities? We're not sure. We can only imagine a generation
This has to be a
of
joke.
toddlers running, screaming
This
to their
has
mothers
to
because
be
their balls
a
failed
joke.
to burst into songs in celebration of their latest bowel movement.
This has to be a joke. Ugh.